This is Elizabeth's story. This happened a few years ago. I was on my way to visit my sick mother who had been in hospital for a few months after a fall. I would normally take the train but had to use the bus because the train station was closed for renovations. So I walked over to the bus departure shelter, which was on the outskirts of town. It was a dark night, but at least the full moon shone a light across the park to the shelter. As I neared the shelter, I noticed a man in a dark green hoodie who was seated at one end of the long passenger bench. At least I assume it was a man because he was wearing large boots and had a large carpet bag with him. I couldn't see inside his hoodie because he was looking down towards the roadway and sat perfectly still, never turning his head. I decided to sit down on the bench at the opposite end and glanced at my watch. The bus should arrive in about 5 minutes if it was on schedule. I also checked my handbag to make sure I had brought my pepper spray. It was then that I heard a rowdy group of 3 teenagers walking slowly towards the shelter from across the park. I'm not sure if they had followed me, and that gave me an uneasy feeling. One of them, the tall one, slowly approached me while the others hung back. He glanced once at the green hoodie and then back at me. "Got any loose change for me?" he asked, staring at me. He just stared at me with cold, blank eyes. The green hoodie didn't move. "No, I don't carry cash," I said. This was a lie because I had about $50 with me, but mostly in bills. "Come on, lady. I know you must have some change to spare," he repeated. "I just told you I don't have any. Please leave me alone." My hand moved instinctively to my pepper spray. But then I stopped as the green hoodie interrupted the teen by saying in a gruff voice, "Leave the lady alone." The tall teenager turned his head slowly towards the hoodie. "I was talking to you," he said. Then something surprising happened. The green hoodie lifted his head and turned it in the direction of the teenager. That's when the teenager suddenly took 3 steps back and gasped in shock. He turned and literally ran away towards his 2 friends, and then they all ran away back in the park. The green hoodie resumed his stare at the ground. It was then that I heard the sound of the bus approaching. It pulled up at the stop right in front of me exactly on time. I quickly boarded the bus, paid the driver, and sat as far down the back of the bus that I could. Out of the corner of my eye I could still see the green hoodie sitting on the bench. He still had to move as the bus pulled off. I wondered what the teenager had seen under the green hoodie that night. I guess I will never know, but the event has stayed with me ever since. But I'm glad he had protected me that night against something that could have turned out very badly.